everybody, it's Kit here. Happy Valentine's Day. So, hope everybody's week is going well. We are back with this, and yeah. I don't really have much to say other than I had to get up at like 6:30 this morning to take Whiskey to the vet. She had to get her teeth cleaned. I'm sleepy right now, so if I yawn, that's why. I'm trying not to take a nap, though. I'm trying to get stuff done and have a shower. I might have to have a bit of a lay down, though. I don't know. Alright, okie dokie. So we are on chapter 10 out of, I don't remember how many. I think 21, I think. So, getting up there. And yeah, I think the project is probably going to be the finger loop blanket that I was working on last week. I'm really close to getting it done. I think I only need one more skein after I get done with the 1 or 2 rows I have left on this old skein. So that's pretty great. But yeah. Okay. So let's get going, shall we? Oh, yeah, and, last time it was kind of a funny chapter, I remember. Everybody had to move. Everybody was moving to the college, Greenvale Academy, and yeah, it was kind of funny, and the adults were fighting, and it's just all of this chaos. But then it was kind of sad because it's like all the parents are, Mom, my baby's going to school. And Eli had nobody. She really was missing her dad, her people. Just a lot of change going on. And, will she be able to keep her job? Will she be able to do this? What's college like? She's, what's school like with other people? 'Cause she's always been homeschooled. Never wanted that experience, never thought about it, and just a whole bunch of stuff. So, yeah, anyway. Chapter 10 is a shared hatred. I woke up feeling refreshed and for once not tired. Oh, I wish. I had slept through the night without going on any trips. A feeling of personal victory came over me as I stretched and smiled to myself. Yawning, I walked over to the window by the vacant bed of my non-existent roommate and pulled back the curtains, enjoying the view of the sun just barely cresting the school rooftops. Greenvale from this angle looked like an old castle, if that castle was made of old stone brick and had gardeners with mowers whistling as they worked. I smiled faintly, feeling optimistic about the day, something I haven't felt in a long time. It was a new day. Tomorrow, I would be starting my chosen classes. What's wrong with that sentence? I guess. I suppose tomorrow I will be starting my chosen classes. Okay. It was a new phase of my life. Sure. It was a change, but it might be a good change, right? Sighing, I appreciated the morning sun once more before leaving the window in lieu of a shower. We've already started with the not being able to speak English portion of the video, I see, and we're only 4 minutes in. Wow. Is that a record? Might be a record. Every room had a nice bathroom attached to every room for the tenants, and since I wasn't sharing my room, or so it seemed, it looked like the bathroom was all mine as well. I hummed to myself as I got ready, braiding my glossy brown hair for a change. I put on some nice tan capris and a tank top? What? Tank top. Oh my god. Tank top with flip-flops. Finally, I put on some lip gloss and grinned at my reflection in the mirror. I used to wear this sort of stuff all the time back in California. It was nice to remember the good old times. I delicately pushed my bangs behind my ear before going out to the kitchen to make some coffee. It was just barely 7 a.m. and the entire floor was as silent as a ghost town. I laughed softly to myself, exploring the shelves stocked with food, and oh yes, coffee. Simon had given me the next 2 days off again, but I was probably going to go in anyway. Working was better than having everyone stare at you. Okay, I have a Chewy, so if I seem distracted, voice changes, make weird noises. If you hear him, he is licking my chin with an okay, now you're licking my neck, and that does not feel weird. That feels very weird. No, don't lick my ear. Please don't. No. Baby boy. Baby boy. I understand you want to lay down. I understand Watson took your normal spot, and Flash took your other spot, and you don't want to lay down on the floor. That's why I picked you up, so that you could possibly go to sleep. And my hands. Arms. Whatever. And instead you're deciding to lick me. Oh, no, that's it. That tickles. That tickles. Alright, well. I idly wondered if anyone would rouse themselves from their slumber when the delicious smell of coffee and the bacon I was putting in a pan hit them. I usually was out of the house before any of them were up, so this was going to be a fun little experiment for me. I put in my earphones and started singing Stand By You. It was such a good song. Rachel Platten did a good job with it. I started to sing the chorus, ignoring that little thought in the back of my head that I would wake someone up and crack some eggs into the frying pan. A few minutes later, I had a steaming cup of fresh coffee with eggs, bacon, and toast. It smelled like heaven, and still no one was here. That told me everything I needed to know about my dorm mates. They preferred their sleep to food. I was the exact opposite. Shrugging to myself, I finished my breakfast, rinsed off my dishes, and finished my coffee. Rinsing out my mug, I did the responsible thing and put my dishes in the empty dishwasher. I have always tried to do this, otherwise I get a bittersweet flashback to lectures from my grandfather Michael. Okay, alright, Chewy. You gotta go to the other arm. I'm sorry. Look, I have to have my mouse. Okay, yeah, I guess you can lick that side of my face now. Eli, we all work hard in this family. No one is above the rest. So we all do our chores. Our rooms are our responsibility. Our laundry is our responsibility. As are our own dishes. If you do this, you will find life isn't as bad as everyone says it is. The key is to keep your home life clean and tidy, and then you will always have somewhere to go that won't change on you. I never knew what he meant at that time, so I just smiled and did my chores without complaint from then on, simply to avoid the lecture that would come. Now I miss those lectures more than anything. I frowned, wiping down the counter. He promised he would send postcards. Send postcards or letters, but oh yeah, I was wondering when that come up. Oh, the part of the book that always makes me cry a little bit. He promised he would send postcards or letters, but none have come. Did he even know his son was dead? That I had been sent to live with the woman that he said nothing about because he didn't want to taint my young, innocent ears with army crudeness? The only thing he and Dad argued about was my mother. Gramps never thought that I should have to go to those stupid meetings forced by the social worker. He always argued that my mother never showed up, so why have me set up for false hope? Have I? Okay. It only hurt me in the end. Dad always had more faith in Mom than she deserved. I wondered what he thought of her now, wherever he was. Would he say the same things about her? He never stopped loving her. I used to think she loved him too, in her own special way, until I moved into the brownstone. I knew better now. That childhood fantasy had left me 2 years ago. So, all of that is going to change a little bit, because I've been thinking about this book quite a bit, and I know how I'm going to change all of this. So there will be elements that are kept when it comes to, like, her mother and that entire angle, but a lot of it is going to be broadened a bit. Rubbing my eyes, I walked out of the kitchen, heading towards the door. I needed some fresh air. What better time to explore the campus a little early in the morning when fewer people were around? I made sure I had my phone and my cards on me just in case. One couldn't be too careful. Soon I was outside, enjoying the scent of morning dew and freshly mowed grass. It was a cool morning, the sun still fighting to overtake the shade of the school, with hardly anyone in sight. Perfect. Putting my hands in my pockets, I followed the sidewalks, admiring the architecture, noting the various doorways and exits. There was a greenhouse attached to the school, and the dorms were all lined in squares. There was a large arcade and a pool area just for us residents, which was nice. There was 3 hot tubs? There were 3 hot tubs as well, cleverly hidden among the rock formations that decorated the area. The architects had done a marvelous job. Okay. I stepped inside the few cafes and stores about, taking notice of what they had in stock, which was a lot of junk food, soda, and other various school supplies. There was also a sort of food court available 24/7 in a coffee shop. I breathed in the wispy aroma of ground coffee beans and almost bought a cup. Almost. Maybe tomorrow. Okay. I stepped outside, noting the sun had risen some more, and smiled at its warm rays on my cool skin. Yep, I think this is going to be a good change for me. I was back to idly wandering about, looking for a directory or maybe a stand with maps. Did they even give those out at these kind of schools? I had no idea. I was back to the greenhouse area and noticed a professor, or someone I assumed was a professor, tending to the plants. I knocked on the door before stepping in. Hi, I was just wondering if you could point me to a directory or a map, perhaps? I'm a new student. I smiled kindly at her bent-over shape, not daring to step further into the greenhouse. This is definitely not a mortal kind of greenhouse, I thought as I eyed the teeth on the plants. Those could give Jaws a run for his money. My thoughts were interrupted by the barking of the teacher. It's in your new student kit, and didn't you see the sign on the door? It says, do not enter. Or do you think that you are too privileged to follow the rules, young lady? The professor was a portly woman, unremarkable except for her temper, which was fierce. I looked behind me at the door because I distinctly remembered there being no sign. New student kit? Oh, great, yeah. Didn't get that. Oh, no, Chewy. Guess what? You're gonna climb on me like this. You going down. Will Flash let you be in the same bed? Flash. It's okay. Just lay down. Sleepy, sleepy. Ow. Okay. My apologies, ma'am. I didn't see a sign on the door. Maybe it fell down or something? I winced an apology at her glower. Also, I haven't been given any student kit. Do I need to go to the administrator's office to pick it up or something? She humphed in disapproval and pushed me rudely aside as she yanked the door open to inspect it herself. Sure enough, no sign. Judging by the look of anger on her face, this had happened before. Those damn hooligans. Always stealing my signs, she hissed, her face turning purple. I backed away slowly, becoming very alarmed. If this was what all professors were like, I didn't want to go here anymore. She whirled around, pointing at me angrily. Listen here, young lady. Never steal another teacher's sign, otherwise it's detention for you. I will give you a warning now, missy. Never steal a sign. Now get out. I have work to do, and you are ruining the sanctity of my greenhouse. As for your kit, all students receive them mid-morning the day before classes start, along with assigned homework. You didn't see it because clearly you are an early riser. Now go, and don't go wandering about again. She ushered me hurriedly out the door and slammed it behind me, shaking the panels of the greenhouse. I blew out of breath, walking away as fast yet calmly as possible. Okay. Never getting her way again. At a loss of what to do, I walked back to my dorm. It was about 9 when I got back, climbing the last flight of stairs to the door. It was only then did I see what she meant about kits, because there was one for each of us, labeled with our names, along with thick binders and papers of with what class, name of the professor, and due dates. All due tomorrow. Sighing, I grabbed mine from the top of the stack, ignoring the fancy letter attached, and stepped over the rest to open the door with my key. I then propped the heavy door open with my basket and spent 10 minutes pulling the rest in, piling them all haphazardly in the game room. I noticed that there was still a few boxes in there. I guess they didn't want to unpack all of them. And now they would get to unpack the boxes and do homework. Yay! Grumbling to myself, I closed the door behind me and took my kit to my room. The dorm was still as silent as it could be, except for the occasional snores I heard from behind closed doors. Rolling my eyes at their laziness, I left them to it and shut myself in my room. Time to figure out what was in this kit, or rather, what wasn't. I had a complimentary backpack, some brochures of various courses they thought I might enjoy, student clubs and organizations, various numbers and office locations of workshops I might need, including a depression/suicide hotline bolded on the front cover. What in the world? I shook my head at that, putting it all aside. They also included some cute little bottles of water and nutrition snack bars to go inside my mini fridge, which I didn't know I had, and some complimentary pens and notebooks. Maybe the kindergarten kids get crayons in theirs? I grinned at the thought and found the mini fridge partially hidden by the desk. They gave me some coupons for some happy, cheerful, stress-free plants. Some bath soaps, a bunch of other useless stuff. Goodness gracious. How hard is it to just want a darn map in my class schedule? I don't care about plants that make me happy, said to myself, throwing even more useless brochures aside, this time for parties and some other nonsense. My eyebrows rose at the thick student handbook and ugly hardback book. Under that was my class schedule and a very detailed map, and under that were my very first assignments. Signed to myself, I examined my schedule. No, Chewy, no. No. Chewy, buddy. Look, I get it. You want to be like held right now, but no. Student Eliana Laveau Bishop. Didn't she say that she wanted Bishop to be first and then Laveau to be second? I think she did. Year, college level freshman. 9 a.m. to 10:50 a.m. Monday through Wednesday is herbology. The green is mean with Professor Harris. 7:30 to 9 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays is the travelers program with Zoe Lund. 2 to 3:50 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Theory of Magical Evolution, Professor King. 7 to 10 a.m. On Saturday are the War Games with Colonel Potter. Classes start Wednesday, August 12th. For more information. I groaned when I saw herbology. So Professor Paris was that old hag's name. I wasn't looking forward to this semester, not at all. Other than that, it looked like I had an easy load, or so it would seem until I examined my assignments. All essays, due tomorrow. Every last one. What the heck? For herbology, the topic was the easiest plants to harvest non-traceable poison from. I pinched the bridge of my nose when I saw the required pages. 4. She really wants to kill us, doesn't she? I moved on to my magic evolution class. Oh, yeah. Also due tomorrow, when the class doesn't even start till Thursday morning. 2 pages to answer the question, what was interesting about the Greeks and how they contributed to magical evolution? I narrowed my eyes at the small print. Hint, they created the Olympics, I stated incredulously. I tugged on my braid irritably as I threw that aside and reached for the next packet. This was a 1-page essay of the various rules and regulations of the Travelers Program, for the class of the same name. Boring, but doable. The last one was a 10-page essay covering everything from rules to recommended strategies to the history of the war games assigned by Colonel Potter, the official coach for Greenvale's war games, all due tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on the various teachers' desks. I blew out a breath and breathed in, then puffed it out, and repeated this process for several minutes until I felt calm. I was beginning to rethink that stress-free plant coupon. Yeah, that's a ridiculous. so bad. They want to kill us, I grumbled at myself in the mirror. I was wrong. This change was bad, very bad. All of these essays were going to take me all day to complete, and it was just now 10 o'clock in the morning. I grabbed my backpack from my desk chair and filled it with the paperwork, the new pens, some of the snacks, and water bottles. It looks like I would spend my first official day at school and the library. Go figure. I slung my arms through the straps of the backpack and lifted it to my shoulders. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, I grumbled to myself, making my way to the door again. But as I neared the door, I hesitated, glancing back at the shut doors of my sleeping dormmates, their student kits left untouched in the game room by the door. My guilty conscience. Biting my lip, I remembered the night lessons Marie taught me and didn't tell myself what to do. I just acted. I wanted the kits to be on the table at the far end of the hall. Let me tell you, I've never seen flying baskets move that fast. I think they moved faster than rockets, nearly crashing into each other as they landed on the table, skidding to an unnaturally fast halt, to be once again still. The brief touch of magic I felt when I initiated the unspoken plea left me like a playful wind. Only one thing left, I mused. So I went to each door, yanked it open, woke up the tenants with a cheerful announcement. We have assignments due tomorrow morning, and it is 10:30. Rise and shine! More often than not, I had to drag unwilling kids out of their bunk beds, doing my best to convince them to wake up. Did this work? Nope. But the salt water materializing just above them did in a very fast manner. Soon, the entire dorm was filled with screaming, whining kids, and I couldn't get out of there fast enough. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea, but nah, I don't really care. I shrugged at myself, knowing it was bad, but I just couldn't bring myself to care much about it. I had better things to do, like camp out of the library, working to finish these ridiculous essays on time. I actually missed the paperwork Simon gives out, the ones I always complain about. What was happening to me? College. College is happening to you. Yeah. Hours later, I clicked the save icon on my Word document, sitting back with a low groan. My eyes felt itchy, my fingers stiff and sore. It was 7 p.m. My table in the library was a mess, covered with empty granola bar wrappers, loose bits of paper, pens, and way too many books. But I had done it. I had finished the essays, and they were good ones too. Even that War Games mess. Turns out there was more than enough material for that one. I yawned, stretching my back over the chair in an attempt to loosen the knots in my shoulders. I don't ever want to do this again. Ever. Rubbing my eyes with one hand, I hit the print button for the final time tonight and stood up to clean up my exorbitant mess. I gathered my things, moving my earlobes a bit as I had jammed earbuds blasting with music in my ears this entire time, and packed up my portable scanner/printer and laptop. I made sure to file away my various notes in case they would be useful later. But let's be honest, when were they ever? And tucked away the essays into the folder provided to me by the administration with the map on top. I hefted the heavy bag onto my shoulder, grasping the folder and map close to my chest, the trash clutched haphazardly in my remaining hand. One trip to the trash can later, I was breathing in the fresh evening air. It was a wonderful feeling of freedom. Now to just drop off the essays and I was done. Thank Father Time, I thought fervently. The next few minutes were spent closely examining the map and navigating my way through the campus. One by one, I slipped the essays under the locked doors of the professors and ran away like a scared girl from that dreaded herbology professor's door. Woo! I am done! I shouted, dancing on the sidewalk. Passing students and teachers both looked at me strangely, but otherwise ignored me, until one cute guy chuckled at me. Until tomorrow, anyway. I glared at him, scowling. There went my dancing mood. Party pooper is thy name, I shouted after him before turning around and walking towards my dorm. We had that oh-so-important dinner to attend in less than an hour with a long, boring speech after or during or before. I had no clue. I don't remember that being mentioned anywhere. Wonder if they are even ready. Surely they are working on their essays and assignments. Please. I don't need Carolyn all over my butt if they fail their classes. Alright, here goes nothing. I muttered to myself once I reached the door. I opened the door and felt myself lose all my faculties. Because it was a mess. Simon must have done a silencio spell, because I surely would have heard all of this noise before I opened the door otherwise. I stuffed my fingers into my ears, slamming the door shut with my foot. Papers were flying everywhere, there were clothes strewn all over the floor, doors were opening and shutting of their own accord, and there were even looked to be bloodied blonde hair matted on the wall. Yeah, I tried not to look too much into that one. Kids were bawling, screaming, groaning, every single god-awful sad noise you could think of, I was hearing. I managed to avoid getting my eyes stabbed with flying pencils and... Oh, heck no. Scissors? Really? Carolyn's gonna kill me. Guys, can we all keep it down, please? I tried shouting over the deafening noise. Everyone ignored me. It was nuts. I strode into the kitchen, shouting helplessly some more. Dim and his gang had taken over the kitchen, bottles of liquor all over the place, trashing the kitchen. Pizza was dripping off the ceiling, and Chinese takeout cartons were spilling all over the floor. However, all it took was one crying kid in his underpants running past me with marker. Raise of hands. What is that? Does that sound like a nightmare for anybody else? Marker all over him for me to put my foot down. Oh my god. That chaotic magic sizzled in my veins and my voice got deeper, more menacing. Alright, everyone be quiet and settle down, I shouted, flexing my fingers as I stretched my arms. The building shook under me, and Dim and I were the only ones who stayed put as everyone else toppled over and grabbed onto whatever they could to stay put. Rifts suddenly glowed, opening themselves to suck out all of the trash and sharp objects into themselves, essentially cleaning the dorm for me. Oh, y'all are so nice. Thanks, I mentally called out, grinning when I felt that soothing magic rush over my conscience as a form of you're welcome. I loved my heritage sometimes. I really did. The building stopped shaking, and my voice went back to normal. Everyone was sprawled all over the floor, but on the bright side, the whole dorm was spotless. And the rifts come from her traveler heritage. Just FYI. Oh, good. Chewy is sleeping by flash. It's a miracle. Grumbling, some kid whose name I didn't know sneered at me as he wobbled a bit, hugging the wall. Was that really necessary, Elena? Biting my lip, I stared at him. I didn't know his name, so it was fine that he didn't know mine. He was closer to my name than I was to his. I sighed, tucking my bangs once again behind my ear. Look, we have less than an hour to make it to the big dinner. I don't know what to expect, but we all have to go to at least listen to the headmistress give her welcome speech. So you all need to get ready, and maybe you should take a shower there, buddy, I said as calmly as I could, nodding towards the marker underpants boy. He blushed furiously and glared at a girl who looked about his age and very similar to him, so I guessed they were twins. Everyone started to melt away except for Dim's bunch, who were watching me with interest. I dropped my bag on the edge of the now clean kitchen counter and made my way over to them. As for you, I muttered, referring to Dim directly, the next time you want to drink alcohol, do it in your own room. I don't give a crap if you do or don't, but don't do it in front of kids. Because Carolyn is going to show up unannounced one of these days, and I am not taking responsibility for your own reckless actions. Capiche? He shrugged, eyes staring down at his half-written essay blandly. Ow. Okay. Ow. My nose is itching right now. You can't tell me what to do. Okay, does anyone else just hate being told that in a serious situation? I bit my lip, frustration seeping through me. I could do this two ways. Get into a fight, or do the number one rule in the girl playbook and butter him up with guilt. Option 2 sounded better relations-wise, so I got closer to him and whispered in his ear. Dim, you owe me, remember? Please? My voice lowered a fraction, and we both looked at my bare arms, remembering that snake from so long ago. His jaw tightened, and an unknown emotion flickered into his eyes. His friends watched with interest, but it was clear that they had no idea what we were referring to. He clenched his fists and looked away. Fine, I'll keep it to my room. For both our sakes, he muttered, glowering at his computer. Smiling softly, I kissed his cheek lightly and walked away, trying my hardest not to skip. I actually made him do it! Yes! I wanted to sing that from the rooftops, dancing in the rain, but that might look weird. So instead, I kept my thoughts to myself, gathered my bag once more, and made my way to my room after noting that everyone seemed to be getting ready. Dumping my stuff on my main bed, I headed to the bathroom to freshen up. I guessed we would all go together as a unified coven and all that jazz. Carolyn was to be so proud. Sighing deeply, I stared at my reflection in the mirror, staring into my mismatched eyes. Two sides of my heritage shone quite plainly in my eyes. Looking away, I grabbed some lip gloss and swiped some onto my lips. I wonder how terribly boring this speech would be tonight. Let's see how much more of this chapter. Oh, Actually, not that much. So let's just keep going. 2 hours later. Hours later, I had the answer to my own question. It was horrible. The dinner had started out okay. It was a delectable buffet with assigned tables for the individual covens and a grandiose dining hall. We weren't the only coven or group there, but we were probably the newest ones. I felt a twinge of something as I noticed as the rest of the group acted around each other. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know how to fix that right now. Like one big happy family. My group chatted amongst themselves, ignoring me. Sighing, I ate my dinner quietly, pinching the bridge of my nose every now and then. And just one day I had gone from, this could be a good change, to, I miss the quiet life of the brownstone. Too late, you made your bed, now time to lay in it. Yeah. Ow. As I ate, I observed the hall. There was the official teacher's area on an elevated platform like a stage in the corner of the room. They shared the same buffet as the rest of us, which was fine as I had more than enough food to accommodate the army of people, but most of the chairs were empty and tables barren. Where were the teachers? Then I saw adults dressed down, mingling and sitting with various student groups, conversing and laughing like teacher assistants. So they liked to mingle with us and say what? Frowning, I continued to watch, making some trips to the buffet in between my observations. The food was pretty good, but all too soon it was time for the speech, and the audible click of the door locks clicking led everyone to silence as the headmistress approached the microphone. Oh, you're locked in. Oh, I would not be comfy. Good evening, students of Greenvale. Welcome to another wonderful year. It is such an honor to see you all here, ready for another year of interactive learning. Now, I know you are all super full and want to get a good night's rest before tomorrow's classes. It's the first day after all. I just want to go over a few ground rules. Ow. Oh my god, my nose is really itching. Her voice melted into a low murmur in the back of my mind as I stared blankly up at her. Few ground rules? Woman, you have a clock behind you and is saying it's been 30 minutes of nothing but rules. She was basically reciting the student handbook, which I had taken the time to read and take note of what rules might be problematic. I had a pass to come and go for my job, thanks to my traveler's program class, but otherwise wasn't cleared. As if. How can you block a traveler from leaving if she wants to go? You can't! I noticed my group was fidgeting, and some of the younger kids were starting to nod off. In my peripheral vision, I noticed some kindergartners snoozing softly on their arms on the table. This headmistress could use another speech class, or no speech at all. Dim was on his phone, tapping away under the table. Clover was idly making the roses in the middle of the table grow wildly out of proportion. I love Clover. I slouched a bit in my seat, feeling slight relief from the movement, and checked my phone as well, sighing soundlessly. I had a message from Simon. S. S is Simon, E is Eli. How was your first day with the Brat Pack? Oh, just wonderful. Makes me miss Peter. How nice. He misses you too. Listen, you and I were going out Saturday. Travelerverse, so clear your schedule. It's high time you went. I stared at my phone, a stupid grin growing on my face. I felt flushed with excitement. Travelerverse? Yes! I remember my birthday presents, including the receipt from my father. I've been waiting impatiently for the right time to go, and I guess this weekend was the right time. You don't have to ask me twice. Something to get me through this week. We already had essays due. First day is tomorrow. Ha-ha! Welcome to college, Eli. Try not to murder anyone while you're there. Excuse me, I have more control than what you give me credit for. Simon, 4th grade. That was one time. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. I am one with the wind and snow. I hate myself for singing that. Frozen. Yeah. Simon, why? I'm ignoring you now. See you Saturday. Shaking my head and giggling, I shut my phone off, bouncing my knee under the table impatiently. I was going to Travelerverse on Saturday. Alright, so Wednesday, August 12th, it's the next day. My alarm went off at 6 a.m. I got up, stretching and yawning. 2 nights of full sleep in a row. Must be some sort of record. I got ready for my one class of the day, prepping for both school and work right after. And in just an hour, I was finished. I swished my freshly dried hair into a high ponytail and stepped out to the kitchen. The dorm was silent. Frowning, I started making a mass breakfast of French toast and eggs. We were going to go through groceries pretty quickly I had a feeling. Did that mean as the leader I would have to do the grocery shopping? Goodness, I hope not. Pulling the toast pans from the oven, I checked the time. It was 7:20. Didn't they have classes all day? They were still in the regular school levels, right? I surely wasn't wrong in that, was I? Suddenly, I had heard a door creak open, and Dim walked in dressed with his nose sniffing out for food high in the air. Mumbling good morning, he grabbed a plate and began to shovel food into his mouth. "This is good," he said, the first coherent thing he said to me all morning. I smiled, eating with him, all the while watching the clock in the empty hall. Where was everyone? When do classes for you start? I finally asked him worriedly. He shrugged, scowling. 8. Why? Growling, I hopped off the breakfast stool, marching towards everyone's rooms. No one's up. And why are we worrying about this? He questioned, following behind me. I whirled around, frowning at him. His eyes narrowed a fraction. Carolyn, we said together, and moved like the speed of lightning. We began knocking on doors, ushering kids out of bed, throwing clothes towards them. I took the girls and Dim took the guys, and when we found out who was in what room. Soon there was fights going on all over the floor. Girls shoving each other for a shower no one had time for. The boys crying and moaning about needing more sleep. Blind panic about finding extra school supplies no one prepped for. In short, it was chaos. In 40 minutes, I was exhausted. The kitchen was a mess as the elephants came through and ate as quickly as possible and stampeded out. Suddenly, I was alone. My herbology class, the one and only for the day, didn't start until 9:30. Blowing out of breath, I began cleaning the kitchen. Well, think on the bright side. Traveler verse on Saturday, and no way in heck am I waking that lot up ever again. They learned to use an alarm clock. Filling up the dishwasher and turning it on, I flexed my fingers, beginning to wipe down the countertops. It's going to be a long week. Yeah. So, yeah. That's chapter 10. I feel so bad for Eli. So, something that really is explored in this, and I'm, as I'm looking at all of this and trying to figure out how to change things, I'm probably gonna change this just a little bit, but at the same time, a lot of it is still going to stay in, but things are going to be more understandable, if that makes sense. It's going to be telegraphed better. A lot of the Coven children, a lot of the Coven families are rather rich. They've got, a lot of them went to private schools that started, at 9. Their moms woke them up, or nannies. They are very spoiled. They don't have a lot of responsibility, and they've been cut loose. So they don't really, they're not used to setting alarms. They're not used to having to clean up after themselves. They have maids. Some of them even have chefs. So they're not, they think it's freedom, but in reality it's taking responsibility for their own actions. And Eli is having to step in and play parent because their parents didn't think about the consequences of waking them up instead of teaching them to wake up to an alarm clock. They don't know how to do their own laundry because maids have always done that. They don't know how to clean. They don't know how to do grocery shopping. They don't really know how to cook. And a lot of them are, 10, 11, 12 years old, so on and so forth. But, those kids and younger, yes. And I'm actually kind of considering having them not be in this type of school. I meant for this to be more like a boarding school, and I didn't really do a lot of research, which was my mistake. But essentially it's a boarding school and, college kind of in one. And, what do you do when you're in a dorm room? What do you do when, you're at a boarding school? Yes, you possibly have some people do your own laundry, at a boarding school. At a college, not so much. And when it's something like this, the covens are really supposed to be working together and so on and so forth. So it's a lot more independence, but it's structured with them needing to go places. So yeah, Eli's gonna have to deal with that. It's going to be bad. Yeah. But that is that. Anyway, yeah, that is that. Sorry it took 40 minutes, but I kind of took a look and I was like, oh, we're so close to being done though. So yeah, we are now, oh, we are at page 99 of 207. We're almost at page 100. That's pretty cool. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm learning of different things to do, which is nice. But anyway, yeah, I will see you guys another time. Hopefully we got done with that blanket. That would be pretty cool. I don't know if I can get it done in 40 minutes. Obviously, I do the reading and then I do the crochet. That way I can kind of match the crochet time with the video better. If we get the blanket done, then I will be working on some fingerless gloves. If not, then I guess I'm working on the blanket still. Anyway, I will see you guys another time. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching / listening and being awesome. Bye.